Welcome to section 4.9. This is the 44th session of the ISACA CISA exam prep series. In this session, we'll cover operational log management. We'll answer several questions. What is a log, and what does it record? What kinds of logs will you meet? How do you run logs as a managed process? How are logs collected, stored, and protected? How do you analyze them and report concerns? And how do logs feed your wider security and governance programs? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because logs are the memory of your systems. Picture an online pharmacy whose order system slows to a crawl, or a small accounting firm where one admin holds every key. Logs tell you what happened, when, and who did it. They hold people accountable, and sometimes they are your only proof after an incident. Get logging right, and you can investigate with confidence. Get it wrong, and you are guessing in the dark. So what exactly is an operational log? Think of it as a tamper-resistant diary for a system. It records actions, events, and user interactions over time. Some people call it an audit trail. It supports monitoring and instant investigation, and it creates accountability for what people do. Here is a useful angle for the exam. When you cannot build a primary control, a log can stand in. That is, a compensating control. Imagine a tiny startup that cannot fully split duties. Monitoring the logs catches anyone misusing elevated access. What should a single log record actually contain? Picture the questions a detective asks. What type of event occurred? When did it happen? Where did it happen? What was the source? What was the outcome? And who or what was involved? If a record answers all six, it is genuinely useful. What kinds of logs will you actually run into? Almost every component can generate one. Let me group the common ones. An event log captures traffic, logins, and failed passwords. It often works as a detective control after a breach. A server log records activity for one server over a period. A system log captures operating system events, like startups and crashes. An access log lists who or what reached a file or application. It is a classic stand-in when you cannot fully separate duties. A change log tracks edits to an application or file in order. It supports your change management controls. An availability log tracks uptime and performance. You use it to check whether service targets were met. A resource log flags connectivity problems and capacity limits. It can be an early hint of a breach. A threat log fires when traffic matches a firewall's danger profile. A database log records inserts, updates, and deletions. An error log explains what went wrong when something breaks. A firewall log records traffic crossing the boundary. An application log checks efficiency and whether changes were authorized. And an access control log reviews the controls guarding sensitive data. You do not memorize every type. You learn to ask what each one is good for. So how do you turn raw logs into a managed process? You follow a repeating cycle. First, collect the data. Then analyze it. Generate alerts when something looks wrong. Report concerns to the right people. Implement action plans to fix them. And store the logs safely throughout. The whole aim is to protect their availability, integrity, and confidentiality. Creating logs is not enough. You must actively monitor them against real risks. How is the plumbing behind this organized? Think of 3 tiers. The first tier is log generation. These are the hosts that produce the data and send it onward. The second tier is analysis and storage. Central servers receive logs from many sources. When a server gathers from many feeds, we call it a collector or aggregator. The data may arrive in real time or in scheduled batches. The third tier is monitoring. Here, consoles let staff review logs and run reports. Give those consoles only the least privilege needed. How should you handle the collection itself? Pull logs from servers, network gear, databases, and applications. Many systems log natively. For those that do not, deploy collection agents or a central solution. At a minimum, capture 3 things: a timestamp for when it happened, the user behind the action, and what the action actually was. Picture a warehouse laptop that loses a file. A clean log entry shows exactly who, what, and when. What happens once an event looks dangerous? You alert the right person fast. Different logs need different audiences. A routine system message might just notify the end user. A threat log should wake up the security team. Alerts exist so someone can act immediately. As an auditor, you check 3 things. Are alerts tuned to sensible parameters? Are they actually reaching people? And is action taken in line with how critical the alert is? How do you store and protect log data? Many teams centralize everything in one system. That makes analysis and correlation far easier. Set a retention policy driven by regulation and business need. Keep the data in secure, often encrypted locations. Restrict access with role-based controls, and back it up on a regular automated schedule. Add off-site or cloud copies for redundancy. Remember why this matters. Intruders love to edit logs to hide their tracks. A common defense is a secure central server running security information and event management software. We call that a security information and event management system. How do you actually analyze all this data? There are really 2 passes. The first is an immediate threat check that triggers alerts. The second is deeper hunting for trends and patterns. The deep pass aggregates and correlates many logs at once. But first the data must be cleaned up. Different sources use different formats, so you normalize them into one consistent shape. Parsing pulls out the fields that matter. Then correlation links related events together. That reveals connections a single log would hide. Pattern matching hunts for known attack signatures, and statistical methods flag outliers and odd behavior. Think of it as turning noise into a story. How should concerns be reported once you find them? Send the right information to the right level of the organization. Define clear procedures up front. Who gets notified, how to escalate, and which channels to use. Classify each issue by severity so you can prioritize. Tie reporting into an incident response plan. Report quickly because delays let damage spread. Write clearly for technical and non-technical readers alike. Include the source, the affected systems, and the likely impact. Add recommended containment and remediation steps. And follow up until the concern is resolved. How do logs connect to your bigger programs? In many ways, logs are the foundation underneath them. Start with the security information and event management system. Log management stores and analyzes logs. That kind of system extends this with real-time correlation across many sources. Logs also align with governance frameworks for best practice. They power incident management by showing how an event unfolded. They support problem management by exposing recurring root causes. They aid change management by confirming a change worked. They feed service monitoring with uptime and error metrics. They support configuration management with an audit trail of settings. And they enrich knowledge management with reusable troubleshooting insight. So a humble log quietly props up half your operation. So let's bring it together. A log is a system's tamper-resistant diary. Good records answer what, when, where, source, outcome, and who. Many log types each serve a purpose. Manage them as a cycle across 3 tiers: collect, alert, store securely, analyze, and report. Protect logs from tampering, often with a central security system. And remember, they underpin your security and governance work. Master this, and you can reconstruct the truth on demand. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.